My name is Cooper Strout. I'm a data analyst at Treasury 4. When I started my career in Treasury, I was first given the task of dealing with these big spreadsheets, and I'd have to do analysis on it, and I had to figure out or learn someone else's Excel models and plug data into it, update formulas, all of this stuff, always just to get back to the point where we would either make a payment or I'd have to check the bank portals for the payment, reconcile it, make a journal entry, all of this stuff. And there were other people that would take the data that I had and plugged it into a cash forecast to do the cash positioning and just to figure out what was going on in the business and, just do treasury. And all in all, I bet you that 80% of our time was spent just doing Excel surgery. And we were updating formulas, doing all of this stuff, and then only about 20% of the time were we actually figuring out, okay, these are the numbers, and here's what we're going to do about it. And so as I came to Treasury 4, one of my main goals was to build the tool that I always wanted when I was working at Treasury, because I really came in to that job really looking forward to learning more about finance and not necessarily the technical skill sets needed to do the job, but I was really fascinated from the finance perspective of it all. But I didn't feel like I could actually get into that. And so here, what we've built is something that does all of that technical work for you, and it only gives you the ability to edit the fields that you actually need to edit. And so it's taking the full integration of a TMS and then combining that with those Excel models that you still need to run the business and scenario plan and forecast and all this. It's taking that, it's combining the best of both worlds there. And so the only way you can do that is if you know the data model and you know which fields you want people to have edit. And so the question really is, what makes a really good Treasury report? And what makes a really good Treasury report is something that does all of that, the 80% of that technical work that you would otherwise be doing in Excel, and then allowing you to focus on that 20% of time where you would be actually making decisions on the information you have. So let's look at this report. This is a cash forecast report, and what's special about it is it's linked to Treasury 4's rules engine for categorization of cash, and you got your cash flow types, inflows, outflows, closing and opening balances. And then you also have here where it's pushing the balances forward into the future. And you can see here that it's taken that closing balance and then it's just going to keep that same number going forward. And so what people, our clients of ours who we've worked with, and frankly, all of them are asking for this same report. And what we've got is the ability to not only see the data as it is in the system, but you can actually edit it in the report. And so here, I'm going to say this big transaction. And for this entity, that's going to now update that forecasted balance into the future. And so there's that 5 million. And then maybe I've got another transaction here. And I'll do that. So maybe the bank is really expensive. So I've got a crazy number, but let's do that. And those actions are now, you're putting in the transaction and then it's calculating the balance for you and then pushing it forward in the format that you would expect or that you're familiar with. It's just a statement of cash flows, and it's combining that format with the logic and technical features of Excel that everybody still needs. So you can update the amounts, you can add new line items, any of the above. But the point is that you can take a report and you can see the data as it is in Treasury 4, and you can also modify and scenario plan in the report without ever leaving that report. And then if you like the numbers you're putting in, you can put it in as a projected item, and then it can really scale with the rest of the platform. But for just basic, what's going on in my organization, how do I position cash, this is what a really, really good Treasury report does, and it's quite effective for our clients.